One of the things that I've learned from putting up these videos, it's been about 2 weeks now, is that I use the word so an awful lot, like every couple sentences or so. And I notice that I don't open my mouth very wide. I'm usually chewing my words or something, straining them through my mustache. So it's a dark day, raining here in Victoria, BC, on this little island. And people like to say, oh, it's so rainy there and the sun never shines. I was shocked to read that there's something like 310 days out of 365 that are sunny here. And I checked it out. Other people are close to 300 hours. And I do know that Estevan, Saskatchewan is one of the sunniest places in Canada. The solar power there must be incredible. So, one of my favorite songs, especially early on, was Abilene. And I think I must have been boys and probably women too, females, go through this major change in consciousness around age 8 or 9. And I think me at age 8 or 9 is when I finally started registering the music that I was hearing around me. And because we lived on a farm, it was country music or country pop. They were rednecks by any means. They were probably, well, I wouldn't say they were sophisticated, but I think as a family we thought we were better than other people, put it that way. I have to admit. One of my exasperated grade 1 or 2 teachers in the one-room school that I went to for the first couple of years of my life said that our family was kicked out of Ireland for horse stealing. So she might have been, well, who knows. Had interesting teachers. Back then the teachers weren't paid very well, and so most often teachers were unmarried females. One of them drove a little three-wheel Isuzu car. When you got into the car, you basically grabbed a hold of a handle on the side of the windshield and you unpeeled the whole front of the car from the car and hopped in and closed the windshield behind you. And there were 2 wheels in front and a little tiny wheel at the back for steering. And the motor was back there too. So this is Abilene. Abilene, Abilene, prettiest town I've ever seen. Women there don't treat you mean in Abilene, Abilene. As that low close every night, watch the trains go out of sight. Don't I wish there were carry back to Abilene, my Abilene. Abilene, oh, Abilene, yeah, it's the prettiest town I've ever seen. Women there don't treat you mean in Abilene, my Abilene. Crowded city, ain't nothing free, nothing in this old town for me. Wish to the Lord that I could be back in Abilene, sweet Abilene. Don't know who wrote that. And as I've been doing these videos for a couple of weeks now and having no format in mind, mostly I wanted to put them up just because life is full of surprises, and I guess I wanted to have some public register or memory of my life on Earth as opposed to my life someplace else, which no one really knows. This one happens to be one of mine, and it says Capo 2, which means it'll bring it up 2 spaces, which generally is equal to one key. This is Van Morrison. And the story of his appearance on the scene was that he was fairly popular in Ireland. And he wrote the song Gloria, which was kind of not really representative of his other work. Gloria. But the story is he arrived in New York and, was living pretty rough and cheap in a cheap apartment, and basically nothing was happening. And then all of a sudden, somebody from the band met somebody, and all of a sudden they had this great impromptu kind of session happening over a couple of weeks or a month, where they put down his first bit of music. And apparently often he sings, he does his thing with his, Van Morrison, sings with his back to the audience, which that famous trumpeter, whose name just ran out of my mind, I saw it leaving. I went to think it, and then it ran out. Left with the answer. Half a mile from the country fair, and the rain came falling down. Me and Bill lay standing there with a silver half-crown, hands full of fishing gear, tackle on our backs. We just stood there getting our backs against the fence. Oh, water, Jelly roll is, of course, the famous Jelly Roll Morton. And you'll find two meanings for what a jelly roll is. I guess technically you can eat both. Har, har, har. So I mentioned in one of my previous videos about some of the super popular, memorable catchphrase anthems that become super popular on the radio are often one chord wonders. They just end up sitting on one chord. And with a song that sits on one chord, you have to have something else happening. Something else has to be really memorable, because sitting on one chord is going to sound pretty boring. So the most recent one I did or tried to do that basically sits on one chord is Dirty Laundry. Got the bubble head bleach down, who comes on at 5? In any case, and I'm looking here, and I might even try a bit of it. Chasing Born on the Bayou sits on a chord. So basically I'm just demonstrating how something that may sound quite easy to reproduce, and I'm a relative amateur, you go to try to do it and it's not quite that easy. And Beatles music sounds really simple to play, but often they're changing chords like every bar, and they're really esoteric chords too. George Martin needs to get a lot of the credit for the harmonies and knowing how music works. So, they often called him the fifth Beatle. So. That'll be a chunky little mother going up there, 16, 17 minutes.